Welcome to the Joy Meets Pain podcast. I'm your host, Dorcas. As a psychotherapist who has worked with children, couples, individuals, and families for decades, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say, my family is the worst, or I'm too embarrassed to talk about my family, or no family is like mine. Well, guess what, listeners? All families have ishness, foolishness, happiness, shadiness, loneliness, forgiveness, hopefulness, goodness, and the list goes on. If you come from a family and are trying to navigate your family relationships, then welcome. Please keep in mind, I am not providing therapy or medical advice. And here's a heads up. Once in a while, I will curse. So if you're looking for a clean, no foul language kind of show, this is not it.
Hello and welcome to episode number 40. We have made it this far.
We have.
Not sure how, but here we are, right? All right, Taffy, welcome. It's so great to have you back. People were asking me, where is Taffy? What happened to Taffy? And so welcome back. Hopefully you're back feeling energized. Energized,
Yes.
motivated.
Yeah. I'm happy to be back. Glad to be back. It was a nice, much needed break. And I'm looking forward to today's topic and future topics. And
Yes. All right. Awesome. All right. So I think those who listen regularly, thank you. Those who do not, please subscribe. We can use your support. But if you listen regularly, I think the last two episodes have been verging on more pain than joy, maybe, and maybe more in the gray area, right? Not necessarily like the hardcore joyful topic or painful topic. I think just, okay, this is what we do, right? So today we are talking about humor, which of course is joyful. I say it all the time. Humor keeps me going. This is my bedtime lullaby, when I've had a long day of talking and working and thinking. I shut down and I watch my favorite comedians and I cackle and I just, it rejuvenates me till the next day. All right, so why is humor so valuable? Why do we think it is a necessary part of life? Taffy, what are your thoughts about humor and its value?
So I think that humor gives us an opportunity to not take ourselves so seriously, not take things so seriously. And I think, given the state of the world, not just currently, but in general, life, we have enough responsibilities, enough to-do lists, enough goals and achievements, to smash. And, and I think humor kind of introduces that lightheartedness that keeps us alive and young and present. And of course, laughing releases, I'm sure, some sort of hormone, like some happy hormone. I'm not sure which one, but so I think it's healthy. And so, what are your thoughts?
So yes, I mean, we know also historically, I mean, the Platos and the Aristotles of the world had identified the value of humor, right? And Aristotle actually phrased this as ready wit, right? Which meant, being able to share knowledge and laughter, at the same time. So to be able to balance the two. And one of the things he pointed out was to ensure we avoid mockery, right? And so this is where I think humor becomes really tricky, is, you know, and yes, I mean, I definitely see it now in 2026, 2025, in these recent years, decades, how it's become a slippery slope. And so, yes, I think historically we can see how many comedians would talk about religion, politics, sex, everything that was considered a controversial topic, and people either love it or hate it, right? But if we think about ourselves, for sure, humor it's sort of like, if I am able to laugh at myself, right? So when I think about psychodynamic, which I tend to bring up often, so in psychodynamic practice, when we are looking at the functioning of an individual, we are always assessing how they feel about themselves, what their relationships are like, their cognitive abilities, right? Part of that includes an ability to laugh at myself, right? How people balance work and play, which is also important, and how somebody adapts and copes, right? So humor also falls in that as well. And I think humor falls in all of those 5 categories, because in our relationships as well, we should be able to laugh at each other, laugh with each other. It's a way of bonding and sharing moments. So yes, I mean, humor is powerful, right? So this is a show about family, so we have to talk about how humor shows up in our families. Is there a
Yeah, of course.
comedian in your family? Who is the person that you would identify as the family
Oh,
comedian?
the family comedian. I've never thought about that, but now that I think about it, I would say my mom, if we were looking specifically at, the nuclear family. Yeah, I would say my mom. My mom is my mom is very well, she has the ability, or she allows herself to be goofy, and to make light of situations. And yes, I would definitely say my mom. Who is the funny one in your family?
We have many, but at the top, for sure, mom as well. And
Yeah.
who's,
Great.
yes, definitely comes from a place of trauma. So she has a long, long, long history of trauma. And this has always been her way of coping. But
Mhm.
sometimes, to the point where it is inappropriate, because it's like, okay, this is kind of serious, right? But she finds a way to laugh about it. And I do think it's one of the things that has helped her navigate her many health challenges, because she'll wake up, and even if she's not feeling well, she'll still find a way to crack a joke about something, right? So my brother, Cecil, who we had on the show before, definitely
Yeah.
comedian of the family. So if I think about this in therapeutic terms, um, there are roles that people play, right? There's someone who could be labeled as the blamer, who blames everyone for everything, right? There's someone who's a placater, a peacemaker, and that, I think, is the purpose that the role the comedian plays, is when things are tense and serious, let's crack a joke, and so yes, I do see that in my brother as well, where he has a tendency to just crack jokes often. But yeah, I think his is balanced. It's not excessive to the point where you can tell someone is avoiding something or running from something, right? And so, yes, I think it's something I'm also very attentive to, because I love humor and I do use it in my work as well. And so when I do come across clients who use it excessively, then I can tell that, okay, there's something happening here where they are trying to avoid, something deep or something painful. Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, I think um, Nancy McWilliams is a very well-known psychoanalytic therapist, and one of her quotes about humor is a sense of humor, especially a capacity to laugh at one's own idiosyncrasies, has long been considered a core element of mental health. Aptly said, right? This is the point. If I can laugh at myself, this is me recognizing that it is okay. I am human. I also make mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and it's okay to laugh at myself. So as far as comedians go, yes, I think this can also become a bit of a touchy subject. But if we think again in historical terms, I mean, Lenny Bruce, one of the early time comedians in 1940s, who also was a social critic, and we find this with a lot of comedians as well, where they can criticize something that's political, but turn it into a joke where it lands a little softer. Another one who comes to mind for me is Richard Pryor and his many jokes about police brutality against Black people. And, he was passing on a very serious message, but sort of presenting it in a way where it was, humor. And, he talked about how white people would view police as protectors, right? And not the case for Black people, which again is still the case. Fast forward decades later, Richard Pryor's been gone, but the issue persists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and many, many comedians, I think, also discuss similar issues as well. All right. So, I mean, as far as you go, are there comedians that you find yourself being drawn to, and do you know why and for what reason?
I think this one is probably cliche at this point, but I'm gonna say Trevor Noah. So he's a long time favorite at this point. And I think he also runs a podcast now. He runs a podcast, and that's also quite laced with humor, but still obviously addressing, serious topics or informative topics. So yeah, and then she's not a comedian, but I'm going to say Kiki Palmer. She is ridiculous funny. And so I think that's actually a great example of somebody, and she actually has spoken about how I think she's used humor as a coping mechanism, especially when she was at school, because I think she grew up in a predominantly, I might be mistaken, but there's something about childhood, it could be at school or at home, where she grew up in an environment, and then at work, because she was a child star as well. And humor became a way to avoid getting bullied, or, and so we see that in her personality a lot, even up to now, even in moments that are supposed to be serious, or, she does find a way to inject it into her personality, and it comes across really charming and very authentic, and she's just goofy and playful, but also extremely talented. So that would be my second person. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So long before Jimmy Kimmel became a thing, I had always watched him, followed him, from the start of his career, or at least his show. And so, yes, I think his recent run-ins with have put him on a higher platform. and it's great to see his success. But it's again not necessarily funny, but troubling to see how, you know, humor is supposed to be open, healing, acceptable, but
Yeah.
because it makes others uncomfortable, then we try to shut people off, shut people down. Um, what's his name? Dave Chappelle went through the same thing as well, So, yes, I think when you start to target a particular group, or not necessarily target, but I think if a particular group feels targeted, right, they can come at you really hard and
Oh yeah.
definitely has an impact on your success, you know. Yeah, but I mean, I am a fan of Cat Williams. I have watched him live as well, and
Ooh.
yeah, he definitely tells it like it is. He definitely doesn't mince his words. But there's so many. I mean, as far as comedians, there's so many, and I again believe that it is okay to laugh, and not necessarily, like, I think we're living in an era where we take things so personally that it's so easy to cross the lines these days, and I've heard in many arenas where even using the word crazy is now considered like inappropriate, right? But there are so many politically incorrect factors that people are putting out there. And when it comes to humor and comedy, it's one of them as well. So I see this with people as well, where some just really struggle to laugh at themselves, and others also will take it very personally without realizing, well, I mean, it's comedy, and this is part of what comedy is, right? Is the ability to laugh at something, and, I'm a firm believer also that if I know a person's history and character, then I'm also able to tell the difference between this is a joke and this is not, right? So, in this tense world that we're living in now, I think we just need the ability and the capacity to be more accepting and understanding of each other.
Yeah.
I have a new up and coming favorite comedian, and this is thanks to my sister, who brings to me all the things that I don't have time to pursue. Right. So she also loves humor. And she introduced a comedian to me, Learn More Jonasi. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen some of his online, and obviously there's the infamous lawsuit. I don't know if he's gotten through that now, but yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm so happy for him, right? He placed fifth
Yeah.
on America's Got Talent and got the Golden Buzzer. So,
Yeah.
and that's just not a measure of his greatness, But I think, obviously being Zimbabwean, we are drawn to comedy that we can relate to. So even his jokes about corruption and, how in Zimbabwe it's everywhere, it's handed out, and here it's sort of like for the wealthy, or something along those lines. I don't want to screw up his joke, but he's one of my new favorites, and I'm excited that I'll be going to see him soon as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I think as you were talking, somebody else came to mind, and it's almost embarrassing. This wasn't the one of the first ones that came to mind, but I don't know if you know King Kandoro. He's also Zimbabwean, now based in the UK. He's actually on his he's touring right now, and he's toured before and came to Germany, and I went to watch him with my cousin. And yeah, he's doing really, really amazing for himself. Yeah, so
What's his
he's
first
another
name?
one. If you just search King Kandoro.
King
Yeah,
Kandoro. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he runs a podcast as well. Has run many before, but runs a very successful podcast, and yeah, has sold out shows in Zim, in Europe, and I think he might be touring the States. I'm not sure whereabouts he is,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
good to know, good to know. Yeah. So for our listeners, are you able to identify the comedian in your family? And if it is you, um, how would you rate your use of humor? So do you think it's a way to cope at times with too much pain? Is it, this role that you have taken on in your family to sort of ease the tension when it comes up? Do you also think that your use might be excessive? So yes, we would like to hear that. Taffy, what other questions do you have for our audience?
Another question I would have for the audience is, how do you integrate humor into your daily life, or what does humor look like for you in your life, and how you apply it in your life? I think that's an interesting one. Are you able to laugh at yourself? Are you able to, when you interact with other people, are you, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think, I also want to highlight that, we can use humor as a way to symbolize the aspects of the human experience that leave us speechless and horrified, right? And I think that's the power of humor is comedians have the guts to say things that some of us may think but are not able to say.
Yeah.
And so this is, I think, what we appreciate in them as well. But yes, if you have a favorite joke, send it our way. We would love to hear what you think and how you use humor, especially in your daily lives. But do not forget to send us a message, or, post your comments in the chat if you have more to say about humor and its power and how you see its value in your own personal life. All right, Taffy and I thank you again, and Taffy, thanks as always.
A pleasure, and I will see you next time.
I hope this episode added something meaningful to your day or to your life. If you have a family-related story, whether joyful or painful, that you would like to share, please send an email to info@joymeetspain.com or on Instagram @joymeetspainpodcast. Thank you for tuning in and for allowing me to spend this part of your day with you. Please rate and review the podcast wherever you listen to the show. And of course, please subscribe and spread the word to your friends, family, or that cousin who always says our family is crazy. Till next time, stay well, stay kind, and stay present.